What is up, you guys? It is your boy Lucius from Toad Trap Tribe, bringing you the long-awaited return of the Naruto Isekai Ultimate Survival Guide. To my OG fans of the series, you guys already know what's up. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for sticking by and watching all these videos. It really means the world to us. And for any new people, please feel free to take this time to go back and watch the other episodes in the series leading up to this one, or else you'll probably be a little confused when we start discussing certain things. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video, shall we? Now, I know what you all are thinking. Lucius, what have we been doing all this time? What new jutsu have we learned? Relax. I got you. But this episode will be more narrative driven only because we need to set the stage for the first major arc in Shippuden, which is the Gaara rescue mission. And you really can't understate the significance of this arc because it gets a little lost in the shuffle, but it kind of serves as the first domino to fall when we're getting a larger look into the Akatsuki's plans to collect the Jinchuriki. And I kind of have to admire their dedication to doing it in numerical order. I mean, they go after Gaara first, right? But it's a lot more fun to think that this isn't for ritualistic reasons and they were just afraid to run the hands with Naruto and Killer Bee. So let's catch up. What you've been doing during the time skip. For starters, your chakra control has improved vastly. You can now cast all of your ninjutsus at frankly half the cost. Not to mention, your rendition of Asuma's chakra blade technique has taken a life of its own. Now you can actually melt most objects that it comes into contact with. And most notably, you can stay in your Oni form for much longer without as much of the stamina drain. You have largely spent the majority of your time in the Hidden Leaf Village assigned to Guy's team as an extra while Lee was meant to be recovering. But over the 2-year time skip, obviously we see that Lee makes a full recovery. So it wouldn't be right to keep him out of Team Guy. I mean, that's where he's supposed to be. So, and mind you, this is a temporary move. You're going to be helping out Team 7 during the Gaara rescue mission. It'll give you a chance to really get to know Sakura and Kakashi a little bit better, because even though you've spent the last 2 years in the Leaf Village for the most part, you haven't been assigned on many missions, or really any at all with them. Sakura and Kakashi have kind of been doing their own thing for the most part, and so have you. But the one person that this really affects the most is Naruto, because we all know when he comes back, he's raring to go. Most notably, you helped Naruto during the Sasuke retrieval arc, and he doesn't forget this, so it means a lot to him, and he's really excited about you being there to help with this mission as well. It remains to be seen if it's practical to leave you on the team during the second Sasuke retrieval mission, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As a matter of fact, why don't you guys leave down in the comment section whether you think it's good to replace Sai in Team 7, or to just have this be a temporary thing while you're dealing with this Gaara mission. The reunion. You and Naruto meet for the first time in years, and what ensues is a legendary dap. For the sake of brevity, let's turn the perspective over to the Sand Village for a moment and establish our timeline, because in our version, Adamuku and Yabanako are present in the Sand Village, and that would add 2 viable Chunin to Jonin level fighters into the mix during the Sand Village defense fight, obviously between Deidara and Gaara. And I just wanted to refresh your memory about those 2 characters, because originally they were teammates of yours when you were first isekai'd into the world of Naruto, if you guys remember. If you don't remember, you already know I'm going to tell you to go back and watch the videos. So, with that being said, all I can really tell you guys right now is that them being available, and them specifically being available to help Kankuro during his pursuit, is really going to have this landscape look a little bit different in this arc. Okay? At the very least, the battle between Kankuro and Sasori is going to be way more entertaining, seeing as how Deidara can't just flee the scene like he does originally, because there will be at least 2 people there to pursue him. But we'll circle back to that in a moment. For now, let's get back to Team 7's deployment, and just to speed things along, the messenger bird Takamaru has touched down in Konoha on that fateful morning to deliver some less than ideal news about the current state of Sonogokuru, and it's carrying a very urgent message. They're able to get the Decipher team on it relatively quickly, The lady actually bumps past you guys in the hallway on her way to do her job. But you, Naruto, and the others are on your way to accept a very mundane C rank mission, one that Naruto is very quick to announce his displeasure for. But this meeting is interrupted as the Konoichi from earlier burst into the room like a stressed out intern to alert the Hokage about the situation that's going on in the Sand Village. And sadly enough for Naruto, his mood is not going to improve once he learns about this, because as we know, him and Gaara share a pretty significant bond through their shared trauma of being Jinchuriki for their respective villages. That kind of hidden power inside them, making them assets, but at the same time ostracizing them from others due to the destruction that these beasts have caused. And so, while Naruto and Gaara have made significant strides to improve their relations with their respective villages, they still have a very tight-knit bond as they are kindred spirits of sorts. Now, Lady Tsunade is going to adjust your mission plans accordingly, and you all move out in an attempt to reach the Sand Village, and inevitably you will intercept Tamari, who is also on her way back to the Sand Village, but is not aware of the brutal 24 hours that her village has suffered. So this results in all of you meeting up, breaking down the situation for Tamari, and we get kind of this really reflective and anxious Naruto that we have seen in the past, but I think Shippuden does a good job of exploring kind of how he's matured, especially in the early parts of Shippuden. You can really see the maturation that has taken shape, and it's really interesting to see. You can see all this pressure bubbling up beneath the surface, but it doesn't explode quite the way it did when Naruto was younger. There seems to be a bit more control, but you also get to observe it slipping gradually as opposed to it bursting out in, one giant moment, at least for the time being. We definitely see that later on.
He needs some milk.
Pass on to the next phase. Kankuro is going to intercept Sasori and Deidara, but Deidara is going to attempt his retreat, just like he would in the normal timeline. But Kankuro's got some backup this time in the form of Yabanako and Adamuku, which I stated earlier in the episode, and now we're going to kind of see how that situation will unfold and develop, as opposed to Kankuro doing this in a kind of one-man army kind of fashion. Adamuku, being more agile of the two, will move on to tail Deidara, while Yabanaka will stay behind with Kankuro, and he will attempt to fight Sasori with him. Now, this is a very ambitious pursuit on Adamuku's part. I mean, obviously Deidara is flying on the back of his clay bird, dragon, whatever it was at the time. I think it was the bird. But Adamuku, being as clever as she is not deterred by this, and being a water-style user in the desert is nothing but an annoyance to her, if anything. Actually, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. I hope that's not trademarked. But what she does is she uses her chakra to gather water particles from the surrounding air, and she is able to do this over a large spread area and in quick succession because of her outstanding chakra control. She basically the Sakura of the Sand Village, if we remember correctly, that while Sakura has taken her share of criticism, she is pretty, competent as a ninja. And speaking of Sakura, Adamuku has also developed a bit of a knack for medical ninjutsu herself, but here we can see her applying her chakra control for something totally different. So she will launch a water-style water dragon at the airborne Deidara, but she will actually disperse the technique in fear of hitting an unconscious and mostly defenseless Gaara, as it seems that his perfect defense is also taking a leave of absence while he's unconscious. We've definitely seen something like this before when Kisame used multiple water shark bombs instead of just firing off a big one. So this technique is actually pretty effective if you don't want to blow the Kazekage up, and that is exactly what Deidara teases her about when he artfully dodges, no pun intended, her attack. Once again, Adamuku manipulates the water particles in the air using her chakra, and this time summons a wall of water that surges upwards, allowing her to be in striking range of Deidara and his clay creation. Knowing now that she can't deliver a direct attack to the bird, she elects to hop aboard. Deidara is a little reluctant to engage because he's pretty low on detonating clay at this point, but he knows he has to shake her somehow, so he actually summons a couple of his spiders to toss out at her. Otamaku charges straight into the attack, and there is a wide grin on Deidara's face as he notices the Konoichi's mistake. Just as he is about to detonate his clay though, he noticed something that truly mortifies him. Once these clay spiders make contact with Otamaku's skin, they begin to shrivel up and dry, resulting in them falling off. And the reason that this happens is because she has an ability, displayed earlier in the tuning exams, that she can manipulate the liquids inside of an object. Now, the way she does this is she pretty much just sucks up all the moisture from these clay creations, causing them to dry up and become ineffective, much to Deidara's dismay, seeing as how he's already low on detonating clay. Safe to say, he hasn't had his abilities countered so easily since Itachi. Deidara expresses his frustration as Otamaku lands on top of the giant bird. Now, she occupies herself by trying to free Gaara, but of course she does the exact same thing she did to those clay spiders on bird. And as that shrivels up and dries out, it begins to make its very quick descent, mind you, and Otamaku has to rush to secure Gaara so that they can make a somewhat safe landing. Now her plan goes exactly as you'd expect, and the detonation never happens. However, Otamaku and Deidara are struggling to get to their feet respectively. Deidara by all accounts should now be out of detonating clay, and realizing the peril of his situation, puts his arms up in the air as a way of surrender. Now, obviously this guy kidnapped the Kazekage, almost killed him, and almost destroyed the sand village by himself. This guy's not just going to get away with a slap on the wrist, and Otamaku understands that. So she takes it upon herself to right here and right now just go ahead and take Deidara's life. Unfortunately for Otamaku, Deidara likes to fight dirty, and in the confusion during the crash landing, he was able to create a clay clone, expending the last bit of his chakra, yes, but in the process sending off a detonation that would unfortunately be enough to put Otamaku out for the count, setting off a huge detonation right in front of Otamaku's mortified face. And from there, we'll change perspective to Yabanako and Kankuro, and we will pick up their side of the fight next episode. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I am again, terribly sorry about the wait on this video. The first hiatus was completely intended, but several weeks after I had said the video was going to come out and nothing happened, definitely not planned. But either way, I'm so sorry. I'm really happy to be making videos for you guys again. We got some stuff lined up. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next one.